Coming up on Verse Course Verse, the characters are developed, the plot is set, the love triangles are ripe for parody. Season 3 of Verse Course Verse, everybody.
Season 3.
Welcome to episode 107 and 107 and a half, 108, whatever you want to call it, of Verse Chorus Verse. I am DL. With me is Svend, beer cooler Knutsen. Svend, you got a shiny bright light pointing right at our faces. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
It's backlighting.
I like it.
Also with us, evil Van Halen shirt Jimmy is not wearing a Van Halen shirt.
Oh, unearthed. Close enough.
Hey.
I just
Fair
stood
enough.
up so you guys could see my
I'm unfamiliar with that.
private parts, but
I was like, the lower half of
Evil,
your body.
Evil considers unearthed shirts his private parts. Evil. How you doing there, my man?
Good. I feel like you're just making numbers up for the episode numbers now because it's
So
like
many numbers.
what,
Yeah, I don't
episode
remember-
107563.
Also with us, Rachel says she doesn't like hard seltzers, then drinks hard seltzer every episode. Polio. Rachel, how you
Good.
doing?
You're going to be surprised at what I have to drink tonight. That's all I have to say.
Her fridge is finally emptied of all the Trulies.
I don't think so. We're here, season 3. Doesn't it feel different?
Everybody. Yeah.
Different how?
Everybody.
It's a new year.
Well, you can see my bed in the background
Yeah,
tonight.
that room
You're
looks like it's
traveling.
like
That's not
100
new.
yards long. That bed looks so
Yeah.
far away.
This is a very big room. It's unnecessary.
You could have an orgy
So-
in there.
Ooh.
Oh, you could have a couple. They call this the eyes wide shut.
I
Eyes wide shut,
was
sweet.
wearing a mask earlier.
So, as you can see, not much has changed in season 3. We're still us. The only thing that we've really done differently is we've really picked up on the YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody loves doing
Yo,
YouTube,
thank you
right,
to like
Evil?
the one person that hung out with me on YouTube for like the first 30 seconds. Thanks. Oh, it was you and you couldn't even make it past the 30-second mark.
I was traveling, man. I was trying to check into hotels and get ready. But yeah, we're doing YouTubes. We've got the Rolling Stone videos up once a week, and then we are each doing our own videos. We talked about that in the off season, whatever you want to call that. We'll give it a year. We have no idea what the hell the numbers are telling us right now. Keyword is sunglasses, right, Evil?
Yeah, I'm telling you, facial recognition.
We need drinking rules help, okay? Here's the thing. I don't know what to do about drinking rules. I have some ideas. I think we stick with Evil. Obviously, we're just fine on Evil doing Van Halen because that's tried and true. He's going to say it
winning.
at least once in a... Yeah, he's going to win that forever. Here, I have a question for you three. How much do you trust me?
Ironically,
Dude, we
like
went
with
to the Idaho woods into a cabin with you and we all
Yes.
survived.
that's
So
true.
I feel
Ish.
like we should have a fairly high level.
I think from like illness to death, I trust you a lot. But up until that point,
Wait, what?
I just
Just
wanted to
having
let her
fireball
go.
flashbacks.
I wanted to see how that one ended.
I just feel like you don't care about us
True.
until we're like dying.
Oh, yeah.
Is kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, if that.
That's not
So,
true.
This is my thing, is I'm trying to figure out a drinking game that pertains more to the beginning of the episodes than the end. Because how much fun is it to be like at the end of the episode, oh, okay, we did it, now we owe 5 drinks. That's not that fun for the listeners. That's definitely not that fun for us.
That's a good point.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to incorporate a drinking game that has to do with my editing of the previous episode. I'm thinking of doing some sort of verse, course, verse bingo.
Oh.
I'm not going to tell you what your common things are that you say or do because I don't want to spoil it. I don't want you know, like with Rachel, she never said Taylor Swift last year because she's a wussy. But if I don't tell you what those key words are, I'm going to be our YouTube. I'm going to have my own algorithm with keywords that you are not allowed to know about.
What about your keyword?
I will have them too. I can't stop myself from saying shit. I really can't. You'll see when I owe specific amounts of drinks. I'm seeing about a 40-60 on the trust.
Sure.
Here. I've got a definite no from Evil. I've got a Ish from Rachel.
Like-
and I think Sven's trying to.
It doesn't
figure
matter
out
for
what the
me.
hell
I've
I'm
already
talking
taken
about.
like so many drinks just during our intro. So
Sven just like to drink.
Whatever.
Anyway, what I'm
True.
saying, the whole
Yeah.
point of this, we need help from listeners. Give us drinking games.
Oh no!
Tell us what we should.
That's
tell
a
us what we
terrible
should
idea.
I trust them less
What
than
have
you.
you done? I always wanted my stomach to get pumped, so
So yeah, everybody help us. What should our drinking games be? I'm going to try the best I can at the beginning of episodes to tell people to drink. We'll see how it goes. And then Evil, you still have the Van Halen rule.
do I?
And that's pretty much
Okay, I'll take that as long as I still get to do the waterfall at the end of the year at the finale.
That's fair. I mean, you forgot about it the entire time
Yeah.
last time.
Well, I won't this time,
There we go. Okay.
but I probably will actually.
Son of a bitch.
What are we going to talk about in season 3? Well, we're going to do a lot of the same stuff that we've already done.
Carpentry?
We're going to talk about carpentry.
Hmm.
Jesus, our Lord and Savior. Wait, he was a carpenter? Yes.
Yeah.
Sure was.
Jesus, aka Kanye. We are going
He
to
got
talk.
married. Kanye
No, he
got
did
married.
not. Hold on.
Did he really?
Yes, he got married.
Everybody, please hold.
They got married. How did I not know that?
Hey.
Bianca.
Sensori?
Some. Well, good for her. Congratulations.
No. Oh my gosh. I feel so out of it.
Oh my god.
Why does she have to sound like a bitch? Like, why couldn't they make that a pleasant voice?
You can't say that after I
know.
stop recording.
First time.
That was the soundbite.
Oh,
She
now
didn't
we can finally be funny. Okay.
We are going to talk this year about oldies rock. We have some really, really badass interviews coming up, one of which coming very soon. We are going to talk about maybe some more difficult things. What are we doing tonight, everybody?
What are we
Episode
doing?
1.
What are we doing here?
You guys know, right?
No, it's episode 107.
Wish I knew.
I think I've decided to name these episodes Break It Down because that's what we're going to do. We all picked one song to, you guessed it, break down. Everybody, any guesses as to why I chose this?
That
I don't know.
title?
I'm really confused though. I thought this was like we were taking turns performing the song, and then the other three were going to judge us.
Yeah.
And then it was going to be like The Voice, but
That does sound
No,
like something
no.
that you would make up in your own head, but that's not. Nope. That's not what we're
No.
doing. You can do that if you, for your section, you can do that if you want.
Tell us why you chose this. Tell us.
I just wanted a way for us to talk about songs. We don't talk about specific songs enough. And there are certain songs like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, there are 2 songs on this list that people have chosen. One of them is going to be very easy to riff on for at least a half an hour. And one of them, I was so perplexed on how to even tackle that song. I had a lot of fun just concentrating on one song and trying to figure it out. Sven, did you?
yeah. I listened to that song by Lindsey Buckingham's girlfriend so many times. I also did listen to the song I picked.
Did you?
I did.
Hopefully.
Back when I watched the documentary.
I like
There's a
it.
documentary?
We're rolling with it. I think I had the most fun diving into Evil's pick. So I'm stoked for when we get there, but I think you put that like way down the list. So I might not have a memory by the time we talk about
It
it.
will be at the end
That's
of
true.
the second episode of it. Evil, did you have fun researching just 4 songs?
Short answer, yes. I don't know. I felt more pressure maybe to dissect them or think about because it's
Totally.
one song. Well, 4 songs. I felt like I was overthinking things a lot.
I know exactly what you mean. I felt the same way.
I just created a playlist and just listened to the playlist. Those 4 songs.
4-song
over and
playlist.
over. Yeah, yeah.
I actually like that. Rachel,
Yeah.
I'm guessing you know the real reason I picked this episode to do.
It's
Stop
generally to
texting.
shit on our dreams. I'm actually drawing pictures.
That's worse.
Phone's over here. Shit on our
Rachel,
dreams. Is that not
You have a set of YouTubes that you're doing, right?
right?
Right.
About lyrics.
So tell us about that.
Isn't there a whole episode about this?
You're a terrific saleswoman.
Yeah.
It's called Jazz, Rachel. This is your time. This is your solo.
Yeah.
I am going to be doing a sub channel YouTube just dissecting lyrics, looking into what I feel like is a super important part of each song. So actually this was a really fun project for me because
Yeah.
that's kind of what I feel like I focus on a lot when I look at music. So that's kind of what I ripped apart in each of the 4 songs.
Rachel is going to pick a song in all of her YouTube episodes. She's going to dissect it. I think Sven's going to do that too in a lot of his YouTubes that he's doing this year. He's going to take a song, he's going to try to recreate the hook, things like that. So I thought, what better way to get YouTube traffic by saying, hey, here's us on the podcast doing it. Fresh reminder, if you love these episodes, there's going to be some YouTubes. So go do that too.
Cross promotion. I like it.
Exactly. You got to cross the streams to succeed.
Merchandising.
We've postponed long enough. It's not season 3 until we get to the most important part of the night. Svend, what are you drinking?
I've been sipping on an Uncle Nearest. I was in like a bourbon mood tonight. Rocks and chasing it with a 10-barrel pub beer. Because why not? Gotta hydrate.
Sounds really, really good right now, to be honest. Rachel, what you got? Oh, you've got a seltzer. That's so weird.
I know.
Oh,
Here's the thing.
but it's not a Truly's.
It's not. It's a Topo Chico, which I'm very excited about.
I love those.
I've never had one before, but I'm really trying to watch the carbs. And I had a lot of coffee earlier today because I was just going to do whiskey coffee, but then I just got over with coffee. So I just bought a gigantic Topo Chico.
How long you been drinking for today?
I'm going to tell you a secret. There was no alcohol in that. Am I a crazy person drinking at 2 p.m.? I just put the bottle next to it for the picture.
And here I was so proud of you
news.
for a moment.
I know. Well, I had to go get the kid from school. I can't just go driving around intoxicated.
oh.
How's that Malaysian passport coming for us?
Yeah. Evil, what are you drinking?
Whiskey.
Hey-oh.
Just whiskey.
I'm drinking a Christmas gift.
Ooh.
It is Calumet Farm. Maybe it's Calumet.
I feel like
don't
it's
know.
Calumet.
Calumet Farm, 14-year-old Kentucky straight bourbon. It's really good. It was barreled in March of 2006. I'm drinking it out of a new Waterford Crystal whiskey tumbler that I got
For Christmas?
for Christmas. Yeah.
So for every episode 1 of every season, I will wear an Allison.
Oh, and chasing it with
Buffalo
Buffalo
Trace.
Trace. Sorry.
Yeah, that's
of course.
important. Your big, humongous bottle of Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
I will wear my Allison Chains shirt, and I will drink the worst drink in the history of man, a Four Loko.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus.
Whoa.
And this one is, look, maybe last year's was just as bad, and I just don't remember it, but this is different, weird levels of a terrible, terrible drink.
God, if you ever want to just lie about it, we got you, man. You want to drink
water.
something normal?
did you buy that there? Or did you bring it with you?
It's Florida. Yeah, it wasn't too hard to find a Four Loko.
They grow on trees down there. You just go outside, just like
It just flows in the
Yes,
gutters.
yeah. They hand
Gross.
these out to you at the hotel when you check in. Yes, it's 14% alcohol.
Oh, God. You're going to be fun in a bit.
We're going to take a break and we're going to start talking about songs. We'll be right back. We are back. Let's start talking about some songs. Let's break down some songs. We are going to start with what I feel would be the most obvious one on the list that I
Oh.
think most our listeners will definitely have an opinion on, something to say. We're going to start with Rachel's. Rachel, what you got?
I'm last.
You're bringing it home.
Well, I'll be drunk by then.
Yours is going to be the most interesting, which is why I had yours as last.
And spend your second to least interesting.
Yes.
That makes sense.
yeah. We've already talked mine like twice, I think.
I got Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. I picked it myself.
I think that should be a drinking rule right there. Every time Rachel does an accent, costs her a drink
I
to
like
do an
that,
accent.
yes.
Deal.
You can do your accents, Rachel, but you owe a drink.
You hate my accents.
Love it a lot
I
now.
was going to say, I like them a lot more now.
I like this idea of having tokens. Like we can do things, but we have to pay for it with a drink.
I do too.
I like this.
Yeah.
It's like currency.
I just
How
like-
much to shit
punishment.
on Michael Bublé?
Take a drink.
Yes. Every time you talk shit about Michael Bublé.
This is fun. Landslide by Fleetwood Mac. It's a little known banger by the band. This was on their 10th studio album, back when people were putting out 2 or 3 albums a year.
That blew me away when I saw it was their 10th
album.
Their 10th album. I
And
was
I'll
like,
get to why it
Jesus.
was their 10th. So this was released,
It came after their 9th.
self-titled album, Fleetwood Mac. It was released in July of 1975 by Reprise Records, reached number 51 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, number 10 on the Adult Contemporary chart, certified gold in 2009. It sold over 2 million copies in the U.S. as of 2017. and it is number 163 on the Rolling Stone Top 500 Greatest Songs of All Time, which I actually didn't know until...
Why are you fiddling with a lighter like an arsonist?
Because I need something in my hands at all times.
That's probably quieter
That's
than a
what she
pen,
said.
so I approve. Why'd you choose this song?
I chose this song because I like the lyrics. I like that the lyrics aren't overly complex. Like, I don't need to dig in too deep to dissect them, but they're not incredibly obvious. They're pretty obvious, but they're not. The lyrics help you create imagery in which to understand what's going on in the song. It's not very straightforward, I guess. The reason this was on their 10th album, the first iteration of Fleetwood Mac was made in 1967 in London. And then they went through a bunch of band members. And then finally in 1974, Mick Fleetwood was wandering around LA and he had heard a demo that Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks had put together, and then ran into him in a club and then said, "Hey, Lindsey, want to be part of our band?" And he's like, "Sure, but I want to bring my girlfriend. Is that okay?" And then Stevie Nicks was brought into
weird.
the mix.
The British band sucks until they bring in the two Americans, and all of a sudden they're amazing.
Then they're amazing. And so this was their 10th album, and the first one with Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. And so this is my Fleetwood Mac. Stevie Nicks is Fleetwood Mac in my head.
Ew, no. I guess we both have thoughts on that.
Wow, that got awkward.
You have so many thoughts.
So you've studied this a lot with this episode, with your YouTube.
Yes.
How well at this point do you think that you understand this song?
Pretty well. They're not super, super complex lyrics. You just have to sit down and think about it and read them, as opposed to just jamming out and singing along and not thinking about it.
I mean, this is a hard one to. We're all extremely familiar with this, right? Evil,
Right.
Sven.
Yeah.
Not only is it Fleetwood Mac, but it's the Fleetwood Mac song. Not that Fleetwood Mac doesn't have a ton of the Fleetwood Mac songs, but this is like the
for
song
sure.
of the Fleetwood Mac songs.
Yeah. Possibly even like my first Fleetwood Mac song I ever heard, maybe. Possibly.
Yeah.
It wasn't actually a single, which is kind of surprising. It's just something that got popular later. And it was also, I would say that I probably heard the Fleetwood Mac version of it first just because of my dad, but also it was redone by the Chicks in 2002, which is a great version
Who?
of it. Chicks.
Did they change their
Bush
name
in 2011.
from Dixie to like a Southern thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
How Lady Antebellum changed their name to Lady A because Antebellum Dixie
It was when they were
these-
ripping down
Well,
statues.
yeah, you
and
guys
stuff.
know the best way to not repeat history is to just completely forget about it, right?
Exactly.
Evil. What do you think this song's about?
Oh, well, she was hanging out in Aspen while Lindsay was off on tour. They had had a fight previously. I think there's also a little bit of it touches on her relationship with her father, some strained feelings there as well. And it's just her probably sitting in a cabin looking at the snow, thinking about her life. She was a waitress at the time. I mean, she wasn't Stevie Nicks yet. She was just trying to make it and thinking about things. A girl in her mid-20s.
Yeah.
Sort of staring out at the snow thinking, what the hell am I doing with my life? And I think that's what it's about.
Like pretty much ditto. But I also cheated because I've already heard Rachel's
Yeah, you already know.
YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah. You could catch that on Oh My Word.
Yeah, there you go. And it's funny because even, it's just like any song that's been around forever that's this big, is there's so many people that say it's about so many things. There's an interview where Stevie Nicks said that, yeah, there were aspects about this that was about her dad. But then the reason why everybody thinks it's about her dad now is because her dad went on interviews saying, yeah, that song's about me. So her dad is what made that song so much about her dad, which I think is really funny.
Actually, the first story I had heard was very her dad centric. But when I watched, there was a video that was a Oprah masterclass interview
An
with
Oprah
her. She had said
masterclass?
basically, yeah, her and Lindsay had recorded
Oprah?
a demo. Yeah. Who knew? Who knew? It was just a short little clip.
Okay.
It seemed like it was probably in the last 10 years or
Yeesh.
so. Lindsay and Stevie had recorded a demo back in 1972. Then they drove to Los Angeles and they're like, we are going to be a band. This is going to be great. They got signed to Polydor Records. Shortly after that, album sales were garbage. And they're like, yeah, we're going to drop you. Her and Lindsay were hungry and he ended up going on tour with Don Everly. And so, yeah, it was her sitting in a hotel room, I think in Aspen, just going like, well, fuck. If this doesn't work out, then what do I do? I don't know where to go from here. I've built my life around you. Lyric creates this great imagery of you setting up your life to be a certain way, and then it not turning out that way. And well, what do you do now?
Stepping on my best line of the
that's kind of
song,
what
but
it's
that's
about.
fine. Svend, I want to talk a little
It's
bit about the
everybody's.
musicality of this. This song is like pure arpeggio, so you absolutely love it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wasn't expecting that.
No, I mean, as beautiful as it is harmonically, I think this is rare for me to say, but I think that the real impact of the song is the story and the lyrics. It's a pretty song. If you do what I normally do and ignore words, you'll totally still enjoy it, but it's still...
I think one of the reasons it's so good is because it's not that pretty.
You don't think?
And what I mean by that is she's dropping notes. She's flat in some things. The guitar's not... So I listened to this for the longest time. I thought they had a 12-string guitar. And it turns out that he just
Played it.
re-recorded and played the same thing. And that's why you hear the little kind of minor differences and the chinks and that sort of thing. And with her, sometimes you can't even tell if it's because she just got emotional while she's singing or what. But like I said, she misses notes. She's flat. And it doesn't take away from the song. I think it makes it better.
Both those comments could apply to a lot of music from this era, though, that was recorded that time with similar techniques. Yeah, when you're comparing apples to apples, look at the score, chords, and how they're voicing things. It's done really well, and I love how it's like arpeggios, and it's fairly busy, like the finger picking is fairly busy, but everything is staying the hell out of the way of the vocals. Like nothing is getting close to stepping on Stevie Nicks' voice, and I love that it just creates...
dust in the wind.
Hey, there, yeah.
Evil, do you like this song?
I do. I like it. I miss humanity in music. I miss the warts and the scars and the flat notes. And I miss that. I miss the timing kind of meandering in music. Like everything's at a click right now and everything's pitch corrected. And it's like AI generated art. It looks too plasticky to me. You know, I miss this in music. I've always liked this song, but actually taking the time to really sit and listen to it today in 2023, it makes me miss music, like real music, real performances.
We were already talking about the guitar. We can go back to the guitar. I don't have the notes memorized, but it's really E flat, C minor, 7, like super, super easy chords with really, really subtle changes. There's a small bridge. All it does is add like a perfect fourth, but it changes the whole...
Little tasty solo he plays too. Lindsey Buckingham is a fucking monster player. It's subtle too, but he is...
Electric too, out of nowhere. Like you're expecting an acoustic solo,
Ooh.
and he hits you with that nice, clean
So smooth.
strat tone.
It's so clear. Yeah.
It's freaking awesome.
For a studio album, it has a live feel, I feel. And it's probably because of all the imperfections that we just kind of listed out.
Yep. You know what it's like? I'm going to make an alcohol reference here because that's what we do. It's like
Cheers.
It's like a pot stilled liquor. It's got like the impurities in it still. It's
Could
not
make you go
distilled to
blind.
the right.
Yeah.
It's not like so overly distilled and condensed to where it's perfect. Those little touches, those flavors, it complements her vocal performance so much, which also has touches of that as well. You feel it more. I mean, we're humans listening to this. We're not algorithms listening to shit. We're humans listening to music. And so I miss that.
Speak for yourself, man.
Well, yeah, because you're super producer now.
I
Like
know,
you
super.
like everything to be.
Yes and no as far as the perfection. And I talk about this on the first episode of Sven's Funhouse on YouTube. There's times where things have to be super in tune, super perfect, to a click. Pitch needs to be dead center. And it's all based on context. All the other things that are playing supporting roles. There's times where you intentionally want imperfections. There's times where you just can't make things perfect. Even the best singer on their best day is still going to have some imperfection in their voice, and they're not going to hit everything in tune, especially when you're emotional or you're trying to convey if you're trying to emote through your voice, what gives it that emotion is all the impurities. I remember taking violin lessons as a kid, and as a kid, I did the Suzuki method. So any shout out to young Asian, actually it's all over the world now. Any young kids that are
don't be
taking,
racist.
You know,
I know the Suzuki method.
There you go. And it's the brutal method of learning music. Every day was just me and a metronome and my mom with a feather duster ready to crack down on my knuckles if I wasn't timed up with the metronome. But the thing is, like, I learned that way, and when I got good enough to start taking lessons from, it was the first chair in the symphony here in Boise, the biggest thing that I was having problems with was making the music sound real. I played so mechanically, so I had to learn how to play things not really imperfectly, but with enough variance that it sounded human and made a connection. Nowadays, there's a lot of lazy producers I know personally who achieve that artificially. Like, you take a track, you duplicate it, and then you go in and mess with slightly dragging the timing and slightly making things like 1 or 2 cents out of tune.
Yeah, it's very Puff Daddy.
It's hard to hear when it happens.
That's why it took me a while to warm up, but then I got very, very into Jacob Collier because he takes that mathematical vision of it and then finds that way to make it a little bit dirty.
Yeah.
You know, like you went into the thing with his album about how he breaks his 4 bars into however many pieces just so that he can make that bass drum kick just a little bit off. Really, really intriguing how now it's coming full circle to we missed that messiness and then we got everything perfect. And now we use that same instruments to perfect things to make it a little bit messy again.
To make it imperfect.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that AI is learning this. And AI is able to take a single take and make it sound like you did 4 different takes.
This song, a little bit about dads.
Yeah.
I think you said your dad's favorite band is Fleetwood Mac. Maybe you didn't. Sorry,
I might
maybe
have
maybe you just said he played them all the time.
It's not. He played them all the time, though. Yeah. He likes them a lot.
So does this song have any sort of special meaning there?
I mean, it does in the sense that this is definitely more soundtrack to my childhood because my dad was in love with Stevie Nicks.
Who isn't?
Who isn't? She's a babe.
Wow.
Really?
Sorry, DL.
I didn't say I hate her fucking guts. I'm just not in love with her.
She's so pretty and talented.
Missing out.
He was a Debbie Harry guy.
Oh,
back
that's
then.
fine.
And actually the other female in Fleetwood Mac as well.
Oh.
But we can get there later.
That's what she said.
Look, I better work on editing this. Stevie Nicks, extremely talented.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that, Fleetwood Mac, here's something, and I will thank you for this, Rachel. Fleetwood Mac is one of those bands that I just don't think of.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Even when people talk about Fleetwood Mac, I'm like, yeah, they're good. Kind of like fuck them a little bit. Like not like married to any of it. But then when you gave the song, I pulled out Rumors and I pulled out this album and I turned the vinyls and I'm like, holy fucking shit, dude. These guys, man, they are an incredible fucking band. And so thank you to you because, that kind of reminded me that, there's a reason that people like these fuckers because they are goddamn amazing.
I think they're, obviously they were very popular in their day. I think because they weren't on like a gigantic like Stones, Beatles sort of level that they fall behind and get forgotten until you listen to something and you're like, oh yeah, Fleetwood Mac, they're really good.
A lot of bands who had a creative peak in like late 70s and then tried to stay relevant through the 80s had a Starship phase.
Yes.
We built this city.
Yes.
Fleetwood Mac wasn't nearly on that level, but as they entered into the 80s and the conflict within the band probably didn't help the creative process.
Well, and you did have certain personalities that started to take over the fucking
Yes.
The woman in the big, huge black dress that has to be in the middle of the album cover. Eventually, stuff like that is going to be a problem. I don't even want to say I have issues with Stevie Nicks, but maybe that's where my weird kind of Stevie Nicks, well, let's wait a second on she's a goddess sort of stuff comes from.
Yeah, you can hate her for that. That's fine.
God, we should. When are we going to dissect this band?
This was their 10th album, and then they did a whole bunch
Yeah,
more.
like that would take a
Yeah.
while.
A whole bunch more. Yeah. Let's go back to the singing. Kind of already touched on it. Her runs are slow, not that many notes. It's so hard to be interesting when you're staying that way, especially in a song that just has so few components. And her vocals are so straightforward melodically, like with the exception of deceptive, fading lower notes and notes that almost don't even land. It keeps you so interested. Everything about this song I hear and I'm like, I should fucking hate this song. Nope. Next. No, thank you. I fucking love it.
You know what I'm just wondering now? Why they didn't take it up a whole step or two?
It wouldn't have that breathy, that melancholy feel.
The melancholy.
Yeah, I guess that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
She feels pained
Yes,
through it.
but it's
just
not.
slightly. Just slightly.
But it's not sad.
No.
That's what's so crazy.
Almost wistful.
Yeah.
Her timing is, it's not like these wild vocal runs or anything, but her timing
Yeah.
is incredibly subtle and brilliant. Just some of the words and how she strings them together. With the lyrics out and reading the lyrics, if you're like listening to a song, reading ahead, like kind of sight reading ahead, and you're like, how is she going to nail this? And she does it in a way that it's just like, I wouldn't have done it that way, but she did, and it worked. It worked really well, and that's fucking genius.
That's exactly what I did. I was listening to it because everybody knows Landslide. I'm going through and I'm looking ahead. I'm like, why does this feel so different? And then all of a sudden she
Yeah.
gets to the part where she's singing about how she's been changing, or she's talking about change. And suddenly there's this whole, it's like a B flat or something that just has not been in the entire song. That's not on accident. These people are fucking
No.
geniuses, right?
Genius.
We'll start with this. Are there any lines in this that maybe anybody hasn't quite figured out that they want some help on? What about the first line? By the way, I have been walking around my house for like 4 weeks just going, I took my love and I took it down. And my whole house is just, they're all going to murder me.
How do you feel about it?
Indifference. It's the oscillation of moving back and forth. Because then she goes into, I climbed a mountain and I turned around. She's doing, there's, I love you, I don't love you. I'm doing this, I'm not doing this.
Put herself out there and then backed up, and then that similarly kind of repeated and climbed a mountain and then turned around kind of a thing.
She had written this after the Buckingham Nicks debut album, and they were like, yeah, fuck you, you didn't sell enough. And so it could be very much put out that way of like, I put myself out there and then now I'm not going to because fuck you guys.
You know, that's Landslide. Did anybody have any notes that we didn't cover?
Not until we get to awards.
Yeah. Landslide's Landslide. Like we said, everybody
Yeah.
knows it. But this was still fun. Let's get to awards and categories. The John McCrae best line of the song. Hey, Svend,
Hey,
what's the best line of this song?
I don't care.
Oh shit.
Well, I've been afraid of changing because I've built my life around you, but time
Fuck
makes you bolder.
you.
What? Was that? Did I?
It's literally
good.
everybody's lyric.
It's the best line in the song. I've
It
been
is.
afraid of changing because I've built my life around you. That is the best. That is such a good lyric.
It
That's
is.
so
Yeah.
fucking
It's
good.
not the best one.
What's the best
shit.
one, Evil?
Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love?
You know, that is really good.
It's fucking brilliant. In
Is
context
it-
of this song,
Yeah.
she's trying to see herself in the world and ask like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is going on right now?
Mine's better. The demographic award. Rachel, who is this song for?
My dad.
I was gonna say that.
Has he been afraid of changing?
It's for Gus. No.
Or did he go his own way?
He went his own way.
Is he trying to break the chain?
There we go.
Oh my God.
I just hope he doesn't stop thinking about tomorrow. Who's this? This for Gus, or is that your real answer?
I did write Gus. I wrote my dad because I'm not disrespectful. Also, people at a crossroads, I guess, is if you want to decipher your life. This is a good deep thought crying sort of song.
I said any women with daddy issues, so all women.
Oh, that's
Rachel
gonna get
and
some
Zoom
comments.
call.
That's gonna get some comments.
It's the same as Rachel said. It's anybody that's at a crossroads. Sven, who's this song for?
Robert Johnson, because
Stay with me.
he went down to the crossroads. I don't know, dude. I'm just trying to feed into this crossroad thing. I don't know who this song is for. Anyone that feels overwhelmed by all sorts of things that are happening really rapidly in their life, sitting on the edge of perhaps something great, but it could all fall apart just as fast as it could go great.
And in typical Sven fashion, he goes, I don't know, man. I don't know. And then gives the best answer that any of us are going to give.
Fuck you, Sven.
Yeah, Svend Knutsen. Evil,
Good
who's
one.
the song for?
Tipsy White Chicks and Ski Lodges.
Boom.
Sure.
The Freebird Award. Is this the band's best song? And is it close?
I don't have like a Fleetwood Mac's best. Ones that come to the top of my head immediately, sure, until I think of another one. Yes.
So you're going by like popularity, because I would say this is definitely their most popular song.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah,
think so,
I mean,
Evil?
I'm kind of like you. And
Let's just for
No.
shits and giggles. Actually, Landslide, according to Spotify, is their 5th most streamed song.
Sure is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Go your own way. Come on.
Dreams, The Chain, everywhere.
that
Go
one's
your own
probably-
way.
I mean, Gold Dust Woman for me, but
I don't think it's their best song. I think that I have at least 10 Fleetwood Mac songs that I like more than this one.
Rumors is a better album than this album.
Yeah. I
Oh,
don't
for
think-
sure.
I mean, I don't think that's a big
Yeah.
reach.
But I was taking a risk.
Well, you
Nice.
landed it. Rachel,
I
is this
landslided it.
dad joke of the night.
Take a
Is this
drink.
their best song?
No, I don't think so. I think it's in the top 5. Maybe not the top 5.
I put it top 5. I would put it
because
top
you
5.
literally just heard that it was in the top 5.
I already knew it was in the top 5. I looked earlier today.
The John Paul Jones Award.
I had put, you can fight me on this. So I grew up with the Fleetwood Mac version, very likely hearing this one first. When I was,
Jesus.
turn off your mic. When I was coming into my music, the Chicks redid this. I
Who?
hate all of you. The Chicks, you fucker.
So you want Laura Lynch on this album or on this song?
I had said
is what you're...
I could use a little banjo. I could use a little fiddle. I kind of liked the plucking feel to the Chicks version of it. And I thought it could use a little bit of that. And honestly, her voice could have used a friend.
Did you like the Chicks version more than the Fleetwood Mac version of this song? She does not want to answer, but you can tell by her face she prefers the Beep Chicks version of this song. Sven, what about you?
I wouldn't have added anything. I do like the Chicks version of this, though. I don't know if it's better, but I definitely probably listen to it more.
I think it has more
Yeah.
feeling than this one, and that's why I like it more. It really feels like, and maybe it's just I have a big crush on Natalie Maines. I feel like she digs a little deeper.
Yeah.
What you got, Evil? What's your John Paul Jones?
This might be a stretch in terms of eras, and this was a British band before Stevie and Buckingham joined. This is mostly just because I want a shout out to one of the greatest guitar players that ever lived. A little bit of a Jeff Beck solo in there.
Motherfucker,
Yeah.
we absolutely should have cheersed at the beginning of this episode.
I already
Let's
did.
do it now.
Yeah.
Jeff Beck passed away 2 days ago.
Yeah. 2 days ago.
2 days
like
since we were
very
recording
sudden
this.
meningitis.
Yes.
Which is, I mean, he wasn't a spring chicken.
He was 78,
but,
right?
But he was healthy and
Yeah.
like was performing, and like I think it kicked the legs out from me underneath everybody. And that guy is arguably maybe a little bit of a rough character to deal with personally, but he was a tremendous guitar player. He liked doing things the way he did them. He had his opinions about stuff, but fucking A, could that guy, no one sounds like Jeff Beck. Nobody sounds like Jeff Beck.
We had the pleasure of interviewing Jennifer Batten, who toured with Jeff Beck for a couple years. You would think that with the kind of reputation that Beck had, which wasn't a terrible reputation, but as Evil just said, he had a reputation of maybe being a little bit of a character to try to deal with. Jennifer Batten, you could very obviously adored him.
Adored him.
Yeah.
I think anyone who worked and played with him felt that way.
Maybe I'm wrong, but this is how I feel. Widely renowned as one of the best guitar players of all time, still somehow underrated.
He's like under the radar. He never had a hit.
Yeah.
That's it. That's really it. That's what differentiates him from the legends that everyone would know. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers to the Jeff Beck.
Yes.
Yeah, he will be missed. So anyway, we kind of bit off your John Paul Jones there, Evil, but
I think we achieved what I was trying to do.
there we go.
So,
Good.
yeah.
Rachel, I'm so glad that your John Paul Jones was what your John Paul Jones was, because for my John Paul Jones, I wanted to play a little game. Let's play who had the best cover of Landslide, because it has been covered by so many fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody have any besides the Chicks? Smashing Pumpkins had a very, very famous one.
That's one I would probably pick.
Bush.
Sven, do you have any that you cared about? Yeah, Bush had one.
It wasn't the Chicks. Was it Miley?
Oh, maybe.
Probably.
Oh, I
There's another female singer, and I can't think of who it is
bet it was
now.
Miley.
I do also enjoy the Chicks version.
Are any of them as good as Hole's cover of Gold Dust Woman?
You know, when you said Gold Dust Woman, I was like, and you said that was your favorite Fleetwood Mac song. I said, nope, that's my favorite whole song.
Yeah, me
That
too.
version of Gold Dust Woman is so good.
So good.
Stop covering Landslide, everyone. Stop it.
Deal.
Billy Corgan, the Dixie Chicks, fucking Miley Cyrus, you are not. You know what bugs me about, particularly actually the Smashing Pumpkins one, is he just tries to do it exactly like Fleetwood Mac. I think the Dixie Chicks version has way less feeling than
Oh,
the Fleetwood Mac one.
But there's more
Like-
plucking.
fuck off.
There is a lot more
And
plucking.
the-
Pluck off.
More
And the
strings.
vocals are very, I am amazing vocalist that can do this. But like I said, that's not why Landslide is good. This is not a song to cover. Just enjoy it, you fucking heathens. Was this song ahead of its time or well-timed, Rachel?
I put that it was timeless.
Ayo.
A never-ending battle for everyone. So in that way, it is timeless. Style-wise, I feel like it is kind of reminiscent of the mid-late 70s, but not entirely. I mean, I feel like you could play this today and maybe get away with it.
I think it was perfectly timed. This is as 1975 as you can possibly get. And I
Yeah.
think I think you're right. I think it's timeless. Very, very 1975.
If this wouldn't have come out in 75, we wouldn't have as many covers of it today as we do.
Nobody started covering it until the 90s.
Evil. What about you?
I said it was poignantly timed because it perfectly captured her emotions in that moment.
Aw,
Ding, ding, ding.
it's romantic.
I'll drink to that.
That's very pretty. This is an interesting question. I'm going to go right back to you, Evil. It can be answered in multiple ways.
I think this is the question that confuses me the most. So I'm curious to hear everyone's.
I like this question.
Evil, is the band as good as the song?
I think that they are as good and better than this song.
That's what I said. I think they're better. They are deceptively universal.
I'm not saying that to disparage this song at all.
No.
They put as much into this as this song required for us to be fucking talking about it in 2023. And then they recorded some other shit that is like mind-blowing.
I agree.
Yeah. Most of the band didn't play on this song. So it's really like there's a whole band there, I promise.
You are going to be maybe surprised by this because I like this song a lot. It was very lazy in comparison to the rest of their music. The song is great, but I think they're much better than this. This was a just doing
Is it
enough.
lazy or was that just a good choice by them? Because this is a killer for what it is. This is a fucking perfect song for what it is. I don't think that's lazy. We're talking about it. It's 2023.
Yeah.
You picked it. What the fuck?
I did pick it, and it's a great song. It's not.
Plucking A.
I didn't want to pick metal. Go pluck yourself.
Fuck off.
Amazing, and I think they have some really, really good stuff. So I think they're better than this song.
Who won the song? Stevie Nicks won the song. Sven, who do you think won the song?
Gus won the song.
Evil, who do you think won the song?
This is apocryphal, but she allegedly wrote this in like less than 5 minutes. And she was like a waitress in Aspen
sure.
trying to rethink her life and then went on to sell millions and millions of albums. I think Stevie Nicks won this for sure.
Let's end it with the chosen one, Rachel, who won the song.
I also say Stevie Nicks because she got a job. Because she got the job after this.
Good job.
Good job. Stevie Nicks, Stevie
Congratulations.
Nicks,
Good job.
Stevie Nicks, Gus. That is Landslide, everybody. We hope we did it justice. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. We are back.
You're back.
We got one more song for this episode to talk about. The second most well-known one. It's also one that we've already talked about on this podcast a little bit, and actually maybe mentioned twice on 2 separate episodes. Sven's pick.
Yay!
Sven, what you got?
Okay, on the count of 3, everyone say their favorite Foo Fighters song that features an accordion. 1, 2, 3.
This one.
This one.
Yeah, I should have known. Yeah, I chose I Should Have Known. Okay, so it is 7th studio album by the Foo Fighters. And yeah, 2011 on Wasting Light. Well, okay, before I get there, Wasting Light, it's the album that Dave Grohl did in his garage or in his house with legendary Butch Vig. And of all the songs on that album, I felt like this one not only had a good well, we'll get into the story behind the song, but it had a good story to tell. It was just interesting. All the rumors around it, melodically and sonically, it has some interesting things going on.
Yeah.
Accordion. It took me a while to realize that was an accordion in the intro and at the end. And then it took me reading the credits to figure out it was Christ. Secretly, I'm a Foo Fighters fan. I don't know if I've mentioned that before, but coming out of the closet now.
Good news to me.
It's one of the most fascinating songs on Wasting Light.
I think I had heard this like casually, but I didn't know it as a pop banger because it didn't sound brand new, but it didn't sound super familiar either. So this was a good one.
Wasting Light, my number 2 Foo Fighters album. I love the color and the shape for a number of reasons.
Oh,
I like Wasting Light for a lot of reasons that we were talking about Landslide for.
Yeah.
They recorded this to tape
Yeah.
in an era when you don't do that. I fucking love that. Butch Vig's like, what? You want me to do what? Pat Smear coming back. Pat Smear's a badass. I love this album a lot. And I'm a Foo Fighters fan. So this is an interesting pick. I feel like this song, because of the events of the past year, has evolved meaning. At first I was like, oh, okay, listen to it. And then I actually sat down and listened to it with the words out, with the lyrics, and oh man, this is hard to listen to. I don't think I knew that Christ was on it. That was like another layer of like, oh fuck, it's even more meaning to it. First few like analytical listens through, his bass coming out, I'm just like, oh, the bass is getting after it here.
Yeah.
And then of course,
Like when it comes in, it's like way louder than you normally put the bass track. It's just like,
yeah,
there's-
yeah, good choice, very good choice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. It's a dark song for anyone that isn't familiar. I think it's the darkest Foo Fighters song, definitely on Wasting Light, maybe the darkest Foo Fighters song, period. Butch Vig called it an emotional roller coaster. And correct me, anyone wants to jump in because you know how I am with lyrics. But to me, this song is all about survivor's guilt. Really. It's all about that feeling of you're the one that's still around and you're doing awesome. That sinking feeling of like people you loved, people that you were friends with, people that you were close to that aren't there to share that with you. Like, should you be enjoying it? Are you indebted to them? Do you owe them something? How do you move on? I think what we're all dancing around is there's so many rumors, I think, circling about who it's written about. The first that comes to mind is Dave Grohl's childhood friend, Jimmy Swanson.
Yep.
He died to a drug overdose in 2008. They were good friends, and losing your best friend can be devastating, especially to something like at a young age, to an overdose. What could you have done? Should you have recognized something? Could you have reached out? Should you have paid more attention? There's a whole camp of people that make the Kurt Cobain connection, right?
Sure.
Part of this could be directly related to Kurt Cobain's death. It could be about Foo Fighters taking off and becoming such a success after Nirvana. And then most recently, like we kind of nudged, and of course this is after the song was released, written, this pattern that repeats in Dave Grohl's life. Now he's lost Taylor. It's relevant again, all over again. It's like the same story keeps repeating.
He's been a rock star, a prime rock star, a rock star that tours and shit for 32 years. It sucks, but yeah, it's gonna happen. That's my big thing about listening to this song is if it were me and I was writing a song like this, and I'm not at all saying that that's what Dave Grohl's talking about, but for me, there's got to be such a weird fucking feeling of living in an industry where this shit's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Somebody that means as much as Taylor Hawkins did to you, and now he's gone, and they just said like a week ago they're starting to tour again. in what other industry, in what other job, in what other form of life could you possibly keep
Right.
going on with something that like your brother died doing? The name of the song is I Should Have Known. This is the third person. Like I should have known. That probably sounds like I'm not knocking Dave Grohl by any means or anything like that. It's how could you keep going when fucking Taylor Hawkins died or Kurt Cobain died?
I want to say that this is Metallica, that this story is about, but I could be wrong. Like a highly successful band that was going through like a tumultuous period, who was like, we have to go out on the road because there are hundreds of humans whose livelihood depends on us touring right now. And we have to fucking go back to work.
Yeah.
We have to suck it up so this industry built around us can continue. Survivor's guilt, that word guilt, I didn't tie it to this until he said that. And I'm like, oh my God, that is so heavy. But I think that there is something to that.
Yeah.
What a fucking pick, man. When I first saw it, I'm like, oh, of course,
Yeah.
Sven picked a Foo Fighters song. And then I listened to it and read the lyrics. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, he picked like the perfect Foo Fighters song. And this is like, might be the most brilliant pick of both these episodes that we're recording right now. So,
I mean, mine was,
Well,
but
like we talked too, it's like it's not just like some friends playing music together. It's not that simple anymore.
yeah.
It's a company.
Well, and there's also
they-
there's, as somebody that's a little more own your own actions. In the end, it's not fucking Dave
Right.
Grohl's fault that Taylor Hawkins couldn't stop doing
Any of
fucking
it.
drugs. It's not
Right.
Dave Grohl's fault that fucking Kurt Cobain
Right.
did what he did.
Right.
Why the fuck shouldn't he get to keep going being the Foo Fighters?
And the thing too, like if you think about specifically with like Kurt or with Nirvana, Foo Fighters wouldn't have existed if Kurt wouldn't have died.
Right.
Right?
Maybe.
Like,
Maybe because
Maybe.
all the guys in Nirvana say that shit was done anyway. It was done.
it was, but I think like how Dave just had to go in the studio and get a bunch of stuff out.
Well,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
in terms of timelines, Nirvana was in the spotlight about as long as we've been living with COVID. I mean,
yeah,
right.
so short.
Yeah.
Dave has to think about the rest of his fucking life after that.
That's a good point. Like if you think about, I can't remember how old he is now.
53.
You look at his whole life. Nirvana was such a
it's a sliver.
53. Yeah, such a small. Ooh, good reference. Small chunk of his life, and the ending of Nirvana kind of launched this second.
Right.
Who the song's about, though, Dave kind of addresses it. It's about a bad relationship I was involved in. He doesn't name any names. Doesn't no specifics. Just bad relationship. He certainly knew that people were going to draw parallels with Kurt Cobain's death.
Sure.
Right, and he totally leaned into it when he got Chris to
Isn't
come
there
and play.
an interview where Butch does say this is about Jimmy Swanson and Kurt Cobain?
That's him,
Like,
but there's no soundbite of Dave actually.
That's the same as Stevie Nicks' dad
Right.
saying this song's about me.
You get someone really close saying it.
This song
but
is
it's-
about Stevie Nicks. I'm
Might
just
be.
saying right now.
There's not a whole lot of lyrics.
Yeah.
It's a very simple song, and it's really repetitive. I think he kind of intentionally
It's vague.
leaned into the Kurt Cobain thing.
Yeah.
If you really dig back through like old Nirvana interviews and stuff, Dave and Kurt were not that close. He always made comments about feeling like the outsider, not feeling accepted in the band. Kurt didn't like the way he drummed, which blows my mind because I respect Kurt Cobain so much, but I also
Yeah.
respect Dave Grohl drumming in Nirvana so much and what that did for modern drummers. Chris, however, had a relationship with Kurt.
Yeah.
Dave bringing Chris in on this track helped kind of make that link a little more solid. So I don't know. I think he's really trying to blur the line about who it could be about, who it couldn't be about, leave things pretty open intentionally, but also knowing it's a business and this is going to be good for marketing if you get
course.
people drawing those, especially old Nirvana fans.
And as a fan, it's fun.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even want to say fun. It's as a fan, it's nice to think this is Dave Grohl's Kurt Cobain song.
Right.
So without reading anything about the song and looking at the lyrics, I'm grasping at straws trying to figure out who it's about. And one line, I should have known I was inside of you. Is this like a relationship
Right.
song? Is this about a girlfriend? Is this like what's going on there? I do feel like it is maybe intentionally vague and is about multiple relationships that he's had.
Or maybe there is a song where he says, "I'm inside of you." Rachel, do you like this song?
I do. And I actually didn't do deep diving research into the meanings of the lyrics.
You didn't do deep dive?
I didn't deep dive.
Didn't do deep dive?
Didn't do deep dive.
Oh my God. I didn't
No
do deep
diving
dive.
deep.
And I 1000% just thought it was about some chick. There was another with the touching hands.
Lay your hand in mine.
Yes. Lay your hand in mine, which also makes me think
Touching you.
sweet
Caroline.
David, why aren't you singing along?
I'm waiting for you to say something about the song, for fuck's sake.
I am. Lay your hands in mine. Heal me one last time. I feel relationship vibes from it. I don't necessarily feel dude on dude stuff. And inside you, I mean, I can get like, I've been where you've been. I know you. I know how you work. Maybe that's what it was, but I heard sex stuff.
Yeah, but if you have a buddy that dies, you can say, like, lay your hand in mine. You have no idea what. Maybe he was holding
No,
his...
yeah.
And inside you could be like mentally,
Yeah.
like I've seen where your head's at. I've been in your head. I should have known this. There was this side of you.
It's also pretty, not cheesy, but it's pretty generic.
Well, it's pretty
poem
shit.
Shit. Like, heal
Yeah.
me one
That's
last
true
time.
Dave Grohl style, though.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what I mean.
he's the
fake.
kind of guy that will
yeah.
like write a whole song, have 0 lyrics, walk into the studio and be like, okay, give me 5 minutes. Blah, 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 blah.
I need something that rhymes with mine. Heal me,
Okay,
heal
but
me one last
also-
time.
Yeah.
Back to me being right. Maybe you was right. Didn't want to fight. I feel like that's like a relationship-y thing too.
I mean, people in bands fight all the time.
They
No.
don't.
Or dude, when you call someone out
Dude,
for
are
like
you-
doing too many drugs, like you're
Man.
gonna have a fight.
Yeah,
Sven
let's
and
hear
Brent and I are three of the Sven and Brent are two of the chillest dudes I've ever known, and we fought all the fucking time. So
You were teenagers.
So okay,
So-
can we get to the music?
Yeah, so we haven't really. So essentially, what I'm getting is that I have chosen that this is actually about what Sven kind of was alluding to in Survivor's Guilt and the numerous people that Dave Grohl's lost in the industry. The correct answer is probably what Rachel and Evil have said, which is kind of more of an I don't know. Rachel no. So Rachel, you straight up think it's about a relationship?
I think it's about a romantic relationship.
Nah.
If I had to bet money.
The situation the place
There-
that he was in at that point in his life, I don't see him writing that.
He could have had a romantic relationship go awry back then.
Tying your two theories,
Okay.
couple theories together. He could have written it about a bad romantic relationship. When they got to his house to record this and they started going through this track, it was just like, wait a minute, I see an opportunity. Let's get Chris on bass. So we could all be right. Either way.
I like that.
It got all of us talking about it, and it got a lot of people on the internet talking about it.
I mean, today it is relevant in the context of Taylor. This song could have evolved over time in terms of its meaning.
Okay, if we're done talking about all the boring stuff, can I get to like the music?
Yeah, let's talk about the music because that fucking bass is dirty when it comes in.
It's
oh
dirty.
my God.
Starting, so it bookends with accordion and haunting weird violin stringy stuff, right? And going back to how this was recorded on tape, I watched the outtake, the deleted scenes from the documentary, where Chris had insane amount of takes to get one note on the accordion. Like that's literally just one, he's just playing one accordion note, but he kept running out of accordion. Like he's stretching the accordion and then it gets to the end and Butch is like, no, you got to keep going. Like go all the way till Dave starts singing. He's like, I am out of accordion.
When I was thinking back to the song before I actually went back and listened to it, this song is so much simpler and shorter than I remembered it. This is
Very
super
simple. Yeah.
super short
And repetitive
Yeah.
and short. But I think the reason that it comes across or in memory, you feel like it's
like
bigger
an
and
epic
longer
ballad
is the
kind
way
of-
it builds.
Yeah.
It starts so soft and then it ends so huge before everything collapses and falls out and goes back to being soft again, right? And they do it in these really purposeful steps. It's almost like Landslide. You got guitar and vocals. And it's melancholy, it's emotional, and then slowly the rest of the elements of the song start creeping in. That walking riff, that da 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 da, that starts creeping in, and it's beautiful. The drums come in, with like this
Taylor Hawkins, which is
like that. I don't know. It's like, it's not like a surf beat, but kind of like, I don't even know what to, gives it like this lilting triplet kind of a feel. After the chorus, it goes instrumental, which is really where you hear Chris's bass, that nasty tone with all the distortion. And it's not the same sound he used in Nirvana, which kind of surprised me. I thought they were going to try to just do the Nirvana thing, but it's way more upfront and it's way more trebly and distorted and
it works in that. Oh man, it crescendos into it, and it's meaningful. I was taking notes. And I'm like, oh, the bass. I literally wrote O-O-H, the bass. And then I go back and I find out it's Chris. I'm like, of course it was. It was like,
you're like, oh, the bass.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But you're right. It doesn't sound like him. I wouldn't have picked it out as him. But
it's seldom that anything gets dirtier than Pat Smear on a record. What I think is really cool is after that next chorus, they go into this bridge section, which is the pre-chorus chords with that da, 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 da. But Dave sings a whole new melody then on top of the ones and threes that are going on that original chord progression. So now you've got like a third layer on top of the same thing that would have been the pre-chorus. To me, that's where it gets so fascinating, how they took such simple parts and made it sound so damn complicated. Like at this point, there's
That's the musicality broken down. That's the lyrics. Who knows what it's about, I guess. Let's do some awards and categories. So Sven, what's the best line of this song?
There's not a lot of lyrics to choose from, right?
Right.
It's all repetitive.
This was a struggle.
I'm going with the bridge lyrics. Maybe you was right. Didn't want to fight. I should have known. Couldn't see the signs. Couldn't see the light. I should have known. That's half the lyrics in the whole song. So
you're allowed.
This is hard. Yeah.
Him screaming over and over, "No, I cannot forgive you yet." That's really, really fucking powerful. Rachel, what about you?
Again, this is from the perspective of having this as a relationship song. I should have known I was inside you. I should have known there was that side of you. And I think even if you have it as a male-male friendship relationship or even a female-male relationship, just reading that, you're like, that is graphic. But for some reason, even me thinking that it was a romantic relationship, it didn't come off graphic for me. It came off as this really more of like, I thought I knew who you were because we had this experience.
Evil.
It was great.
I like it.
There's a line that repeats a few times throughout the song. The very first time it says, leave my heart in debt. Later, it says, you leave my heart in debt. But the very last time he says it, he says, you leave us all in debt. I don't know if that was an intentional choice. I feel like this song has gained more meaning with the passing of Taylor Hawkins. That line just struck me more because of that in the scope of, like, we don't know what this is about. We don't know if it's who he wrote it for. And, songs can evolve. Their meanings can evolve over time. That one just hit me particularly hard, I think.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to tour. We're going to keep going. You leave us all in debt. Whoever this is about, that line hits really hard for me.
That will lead into the demographic award for me, because I do think that this is, if it's about a relationship, it's about a relationship. But I think this is a great song for anyone that's lost somebody before their time, particularly by something that's self-inflicted. I think back to Rachel when we did Joy Division, and Ian Curtis dies, and all the interviews are of his friends being like, well, yeah, we read his lyrics after he dies, and we're like, well, of course our friend was going to fucking kill himself. What the hell were we doing? I think there's a little bit of that in here.
I think it's for anyone who's lost someone for stupid reasons.
Yeah.
Regardless of what they are.
I like it. I don't like it.
You just said you liked it.
I do like it. Edit that out, David.
I'm going to build on that. Lost somebody for stupid reasons and lost somebody relationship-wise for stupid reasons as well.
Tying it all together. I think it's for everybody, because everybody feels like at some point in their life they've had the rug pulled out from under them and have been like, what the fuck?
Right.
Why didn't I see that coming? It's for that human experience that we're all on this roller coaster ride, and there's ups and there's downs. And sometimes those downs are unexpected. In hindsight, you're like, yeah, that should have been obvious, but Didn't do anything about it. Didn't stop to think about it.
Back to you, Sven. Stairway Award. Is this the band's best song, and is it close?
I think it's the
And
best.
by the way, everyone, no, I don't think Stairway is Led Zeppelin's best song. There are other reasons I named it this. Sven.
I think I'm saying it's the best on this album. So
That's not what I asked.
I know it's not what you asked, but it's not the best overall Foo Fighters song. It's,
there you go.
It's yeah.
Rachel,
Yep.
you think this is their Foo Fighters?
No, I'm agreeing with Sven.
Oh.
No, I
That
don't
was
think this is their best song.
anticlimactic.
I think this is. That's what she said. I think that which is really unfortunate. I think this song is fabulous in that it elicits some really strong feelings with uncomplex lyrics, and I'm very into that. But I don't think that this is where very well may be the best song on this album. It is not the best Foo Fighters
All right,
song.
man, these
But
you
it is
know,
great.
I didn't do it intentionally putting these together, but man, Landslide and this, there's a lot of similarities here.
It kind of yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Evil Stairway Award.
It's not their best. It's not even in their wheelhouse.
Oh.
It's an outlier, and I think that's what makes it special.
Yeah.
When I think of like what are the best Foo Fighter songs, like first in mind is like Monkey Wrench. Like they're a fucking rock band.
I mean,
they are
the whole rest of this fucking album,
Exact-
Wasting Light.
exactly. That makes this song so much more of an anomaly that it gets merit on its meaningfulness, because that's not what they hang their hat on.
Yeah.
Even though I'm going to say, no, it's not one of their best, it makes it better for me because it's in stark contrast to everything else that they do.
I said it's not their best song, and I think this has to do with what you just talked about. After studying for this, it's actually way fucking closer than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
John Paul Jones Award. I'll start this, and this is my one time I'm using it. I'm using my no, don't change anything card for this one. You can't fucking touch anything on this. That said, Evil, what would you touch?
Dave, what would I touch?
The top bunk, hopefully.
You know, I had to.
On tonight's segment of Evil, what would you touch?
I had a hard time containing myself through Sven's entire like description of the musical like progression of the song, because it was a giant "that's what she said" joke just waiting to happen.
It really
But
was.
I can't, because he's making some really good points that I didn't want to take away from it.
I appreciate it.
I think that Dave already did the work on this one. He put Kristen there. He did the John Paul Jonesing of this
Yeah.
song. It's done.
Yeah.
So
You brought Butch
And Butch,
back,
yeah, and
you
Butch too.
gave
And
Butch,
Butch,
you
yep.
got
Yeah.
Pat,
Yep.
you got Chris.
You're right.
Yeah.
is it the Chris Novoselic Award now?
Can't take from John Paul Jones. I can't
Agree.
take away from John.
No.
They're not equivalent.
I would add a banjo and Natalie Maines.
No, you're on your
just
wrong.
like-
You're on your wrong.
Oh, sorry. Let me scroll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stay with me here. It would be fun to have a Gautier Kimbra thing and pop in Shirley Manson and have a her perspective. Again, this is from the relationship point of view, but have a her perspective, but not really you're an asshole and I'm mad at you, but not really talk about the relationship or what actually happened during it.
Rachel wants to turn this into a Johnny Cash, June Carter
Yes, I
duet.
do.
Sven, what's your John Paul Jones Award?
Oh, they already did the John Paul Jones on
They
it.
did it for
they
us.
Brought,
That
they
actually,
brought,
that's the right answer. They did it for us. Ahead of its time or well timed, Sven?
It's well timed, especially seeing as how like now it's just replaying. You know, after we heard about Taylor, this was seriously the first song
Yeah.
that came to mind as soon as I heard the news.
I personally do think that this is more about loss of friendship and death. I think this was a long time coming, but I think it was very well timed in the sense of how this album was made.
Mm-hmm.
It was made in fucking Dave Grohl's house. Everybody was there and basically camping out, and they had all their families there, and they were barbecuing every day. And he was in his own studio. There's footage of him playing, and his daughter's like walking in and being like, "We're supposed to go swimming," and he's like, "I gotta fucking
I just gotta do this one
like,
more.
yeah, like Dave Grohl's in his safe space. It's years later, but he's in a safe space to where he can actually handle recording this song.
Yeah.
So I think it's like kind of perfect timing for me.
I think it was well timed in the era of its recording. And I think it was unintentionally timelessly timed because of the references to Taylor. It speaks to anyone who's lost someone, especially like in that industry, how it comes with the territory.
Again, there has to be that feeling in the industry of when you lose a friend in that industry, it's got to be a feeling of it's probably not the last one I'm going to lose.
Exactly. Yep.
I think it was well timed, regardless of romantic or friendship. Obviously, a song of reflection, of mourning, of grieving, of whatever this relationship was, romantic or not. And I think since people grieve and mourn at different rates, then it can come out whenever he fucking wants it to come out.
Back to you, Rachel. Is the band as good as the song?
Yeah, it's not my favorite song, and I don't think it's the best song that Foo Fighters have, but I don't think that they were being lazy. I think this shows their talents musically and lyrically and instrumentally, all that good stuff. So I think it's lines up.
I'll steal what Evil said in the last one. If anything, it shows how much more versatile they actually are. Svend?
Yeah. I mean, it's the outlier on the record. Yeah.
I think this song punches up for them.
Oh,
like they're a rock band. They write rock songs.
It's like arena rock, and then this is
it's something else. I think this is touches on different subjects than they normally do. I think it's an outlier.
That's going to bleed into the next award winner for me, so I'll go first. Who won the song? I'm saying Jessie Green. That fucking violin line, the way that she plays it, tilted edge of the horsehairs, like Sven, you know what I'm talking about, how you get that sound.
Wispy,
that
like
scratchy wisp. The way that she
airiness.
played, it just hits. I'm not sure that anything else besides like a fucking amazing guitar solo hits the way that does in a Foo Fighter song. Sven, what about you? Who won the song?
I'm saying Dave Grohl. He got some things out that I think was probably a little bit therapeutic, hopefully.
Yeah.
Gift for everybody else that's ever been through loss and felt that guilt. So thank you, Dave.
No problem. Rachel?
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Ditto!
Just
Copy paste.
He got out what he needed to get out, and that's great
That's what
for
she
him.
I said that this song is not about winning. It's about losing and loss. So nobody wins this song, and that's the point.
Oh, shit.
Oh!
Well, way to end the fucking episode on a
best.
downer, Evil. Hey, we've gone through 2 songs. We're a little
It's only been
sad.
2.5 hours.
Let's go into the
That was
next one.
fast.
Hey everyone, welcome to season 3. We're glad you're here. I think particularly after the finale, Sven quit.
Oh, he was really good, too.
I think he's throwing up.
I liked Sven.
Yeah, okay, so Sven almost made it. The finale and the 100th episode and everything have really, I think it's all kind of hit us how much we care about all the people listening.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for joining us for season 3. It's going to be a fucking good one. I promise you that. VerseCourseFirst.com at VerseCourseFirstPod. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Evil. Thank you, Sven. Thanks for reintroducing me to Fleetwood Mac. I actually needed it. I appreciate it. Sven's not here, so he can go fuck himself. Good night. Good luck.
Go pluck yourself.
Oh, I wanna stay right by your side, 'cause you and me, we fit together naturally.